The president of Judicial Watch says the first meeting of the January 6th Commission shows the process is corrupt to protect Pelosi and blame Trump. One America's John Hines has more from Washington.
Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, you are saying that this January 6th Commission, which just held its first meeting, is an example of blatant partisanship. But do you suppose that this commission may be a way to shift blame from Mrs. Pelosi? Or put another way, Mrs. Pelosi is responsible for managing the security of the Capitol. Thus, she is perhaps responsible for what happened on January 6th, sir.
We know what happened on January 6th. There was a security breakdown at the Capitol, and who do they want to talk about? Donald Trump. They don't want to talk about Nancy Pelosi and the officials that are answerable to her, who had lax security in the face of a crowd that got out of control because of that lax security. So Nancy Pelosi should be questioned, but they don't want to do that. This is a process that is corrupted and compromised because they're using it to target not only their political opposition, meaning politicians, but just regular American citizens. Remember, Nancy Pelosi barely has control of the House, and she's not allowing one member designated by the Republican minority participate in this hearing. What a sham and an abuse of power by Nancy Pelosi to protect her and to target Donald Trump and his supporters.
What do you suppose that it is that perhaps Mrs. Pelosi does not want other people to know more about? Are there other perhaps facts that Mrs. Pelosi would prefer would not come to light, do you suppose?
Well, we know they prefer they not come to light because they're fighting us in court over it. We want the videos of January 6th from the Capitol. We want email communications about what was going on the Hill there. What about the shooting death of Ashley Babbitt? Why is the police force that Nancy Pelosi in part runs withholding information? Why is there zero transparency from the Pelosi Capitol Hill police? She's responsible for this cover-up of, on an issue they're telling us is the most important day in American history. They're covering up virtually every public document there is to be had about it in Congress.
Including this transcript of a phone call supposedly between Mrs. Pelosi and General Milley. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi called General Milley after January 6th to undermine President Trump. As you point out, the FBI was working with the banks, it looks like, voluntarily or through a subpoena process, we don't know, to take up the financial data and transaction data of virtually every American in the D.C. area around January 6th. Post office monitoring social media postings. Who knew your postman, practically speaking, would be watching what you put on Facebook? This is the threat to America, folks. A riot is inappropriate. Attacking police officers is inappropriate. But the government abusing the rights and civil liberties of citizens, using that riot as a pretext, that's the threat. And if they were truly concerned about violence, they'd be bringing in police officers from Portland, federal agents who were facing potential murder and attempted murder repeatedly by the violent left that was condoned by the same politicians who pretend to be concerned about violence now.
Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, thank you for talking to us on One American News, sir. It's good to catch up with you.
Thank you.